Hi everyone, I just wanted to say a big thank you for watching the best Wario designs video that I just released. It's had a really awesome reception so far, and to be honest, I am actually quite blown away by the response to it. Please check it out if you haven't already. It's been awesome to actually revisit the best design series. Just really happy in general, so thanks very much. Going back to Wario very quickly, in his characterization, Wario is actually a really fun Mario knockoff to talk about, and I really enjoyed putting that video together. So today I thought, why not talk about some of the counterfeits of some of gaming's biggest characters, Sonic and Mario. This topic has obviously been done to death before. There's been whole videos dedicated to knockoff games and knockoff merchandise, but I figured as I've got the best design series, how about I focus on some of the best knockoffs? So I hope these new perspectives are fun for you to hear, and hopefully you'll learn something new today. I'm also super duper excited. A few years back when this channel was doing numbers, I was able to get in touch with Scott the one and only, about collaborating on a video. He was very busy at the time. I understood that. He was still really kind and had a little bit of a back and forth with me. Today, I can announce I'll have a very special guest cameo. Keep your eyes peeled. It's definitely not Scott the Wink wink. So we'll kick things off with Mario, as Wario is still on the tip of my tongue. So the first Mario knockoff I want to talk about is none other than 7 Grandad. This is one that was mentioned pretty promptly on my community page, thanks to those of you who responded to me on there. I'll be honest, looking at this one, I am a little bit lost for words. So this is a ROM hack of the Flintstones, The Rescue of Dino and Hoppy. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. So this is an NES game. Fred Flintstone's sprite has been replaced with Mario's Super Mario Bros. 3 sprite. Well, kind of. It's a half blend of both of them, so it's got Fred Flintstone's body and Mario's head. I've definitely played similar games to this in the past. Obviously, Samari is one of the most popular and well-known ROM hacks. This features Super Mario running through the original Sonic the Hedgehog game. I actually remember quite fondly a different ROM hack. So I used to have this little controller that you plugged into a TV. It was like a knockoff games console, and it had 1,000 games in one. The controller was the shape of a Nintendo 64 controller. It had like a yellow trigger on the back, and it even had a light gun built into it as well, because it had Duck Hunt built into it. But within this, there were tons of ROM hacks. Loads of them were really weird, and one that I remember was Adventure Mario. So this was a ROM hack of Adventure Island, and yeah, you've guessed it, it just was Mario in place of the main character from the Adventure Island series. The next one that's up is one that I actually think is actually of much better quality than you might expect. So this is also back when I was a bit younger and I used to play DOS games on my computer. I actually had a floppy disk which had a bunch of old school game demos on it, and one of them was a really basic Super Mario Bros. Knockoff. This was called Super Angelo.
It's me, Angelo.
And yeah, just take a look at the main character, take a look at the levels, take a look at the enemies, just everything about it. It is straight up a rip-off of the original Mario Brothers game. But truth be told, it actually controlled pretty well, and it was actually quite fun. I played through it a fair bit. It was a bit jarring because it only had sound effects and no music. Obviously, there's the fact that Angelo is straight up Mario. He wears a full red onesie, he has a super form, and he also wears a brown flat cap. But yeah, it was a strangely well-made game. I'm not sure if there are legit ways to play it now. I found it through DOS emulation, but it is a little bit choppy. I feel like when I used to play it on my PC back in the day, it did actually run a bit smoother. Okay, the final one for Mario has to be Dr. Amigo Family Clinic. Thank you so much to the people who linked me to this one, because I'd never seen this before, and this is absolute nightmare fuel. This one is incredible. So this is a family clinic, apparently based in Houston, Texas, and yeah, the mascot is clearly Mario in a mascot suit. Utterly disturbing, utterly unashamedly not hiding what it is. Here he is with a giant injection.
I stick this in here.
I can only assume he is injecting them with expanding foam.
Yes.
This character has changed over time. You can see that on the logo of the store. Assumedly, they got a cease and desist in the post.
Mamma mia, I'm getting soda.
Okay, so next up we'll move over to Sonic, as obviously a lot of you have followed me for the analysis of his designs over the years. Obviously, we've got to get this out of the way. We've got to start with the one that everyone's going to mention. I'm pretty sure it's in the thumbnail as well. We've got Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic with the number 10 on his stomach. Can't really find much of an official confirmation on where this knockoff merchandise actually came from. I've got to say it was pretty commonplace to find knockoff merchandise like this every time I used to go on holiday. When I was a kid, you'd always see like The Simpsons knockoff merchandise. You'd always see South Park knockoff merchandise. Always really, really strange. Obviously, this one jumps out just for the absurdity of these names clashing. You've got Sonic stood there in the completely wrong colour scheme. He's got red hands, a yellow stomach, one yellow spike. Still blue, that was accurate at least. And he stands very nicely next to a few roses. Very, very pleasant. Next up, we've also got the green Sonic, which was actually referenced in my community post. Probably equally as iconic in the modern day as the one I just showed off. So this one was linked to the brand Galileo and was located on the packaging for its pickled gherkins. There isn't really much to say. It's green Sonic the Hedgehog, and it is straight up the design from the Mega Drive box art. He isn't purely Sonic, he is either half dragon or half gherkin. He's also tripping balls. So Sonic's had some relatively cheap knockoffs. I'd say these ones are quite cheap. But he was a really popular character, and marketeers kind of did look at him in his heyday and think, we've seen this, this is working, we need to emulate this, how can we do this? So the first one I've got to mention is obviously Bubsy. Now, Bubsy is the quintessential Sonic ripoff, as he debuted in the era when everyone wanted a piece of the character. I actually unironically really liked these games when I was much younger. It's the type of game I'd pick up from Blockbuster and play for the weekend. Yeah, at the time I didn't really realise these games were pretty bad, but I really enjoyed them. I didn't really notice how obnoxious the character was with his fourth wall breaking. You can kind of appreciate the design. Obviously, it is referencing Sonic quite a lot. He's a bobcat, so he does look slightly different. Was quite a big fan of the white t-shirt with the red exclamation mark. I think it's actually quite an iconic look. It's really recognisable. I really liked when the character got a bit of a modern update when they tried to reboot the series back in 2017. But again, the games didn't really jump into the modern era too well, did they? But yeah, an iconic design and definitely a step up. Another one that I think is definitely worth a mention is Aero the Acrobat. This was another one that was actually quite good, to be honest. It was a little bit higher quality, and the games itself actually did quite well. So there was a first game on the Super Nintendo, there was a sequel, and some of these even got ported to the Game Boy Advance. So yeah, the character was popular enough to warrant that at least. This was a circus starring acrobatic bat, clearly referencing Sonic's design yet again. I think it personally does it with enough of its own distinct charm to not be considered an obnoxious copy. The character's scale, white gloves, the head shape, all do omit elements of Sonic's anthropomorphic character quality. It also does a lot differently as well. He's obviously a bat, he's got giant bat ears, he's got an acrobatic suit because he's in the circus, and obviously he uses the colour red instead of blue. Both of these are clearly inspired by Sonic the Hedgehog. Future mascots would do it a little bit better. Crash Bandicoot kind of got away with it, despite actually being probably the most successful Sonic ripoff of all time. But yeah, Crash was definitely a step up from these two. So that's a little bit of a rundown of some of these Mario and Sonic knockoffs, and I hope you enjoyed my thought process. It's definitely refreshing to have a more relaxed video compared to the usual character breakdowns and reviews. But that's not all today, as we've still got some upcoming interesting insights from our special guest. So without further ado, he's definitely not here, Scott the Was.
Hey y'all, Scott here. Glad we could finally come together on a project. Sorry it took so long. This is a real collaboration. The artist Mark Flynn is my favorite channel. Wait, you're just Mark Flynn now. Sorry, my bad. What do you want me to say again? We can all agree counterfeit characters are dumb and a cheap source of comedy. They aren't funny and are very shady. They often leech off the popularity of an established brand, individual, or intellectual property, hoping it will generate some buzz or attention for their own merit. In reality, it's pretty lazy, but it works, so here we are. But sometimes maybe we should think about the people behind these counterfeits, and what drove them to sink so low in the first place. The game developer with tons of talent, a person doing whatever it takes to get by. A creator who nearly took off and couldn't quite match up to his own expectations. They all had the skills, but got lost along the way. That may be the saddest story of all. I'm the angry video game nerd. I remember it. So you don't have to. You are going to lose subscribers for this.